Well, good day and welcome back to my channel. I am so happy that you're here. Today we're going to talk about how I got involved in my past career in health and safety. That was a viewer request, but what I just did was I just washed the car. If you can see, it's so bright here. If you can see the car wash behind me there. I just washed the car so it's nice and clean, because it was covered in snow. Because I don't know if you can tell, but there's a lot of fresh snow here, but it rained, as you may know from my other video. It rained and it was miserable. Funny thing just happened to me though. When I was washing the car, I pulled into a stall beside one of those big high-topped vans, like an Amazon van. It wasn't an Amazon van, but it was same kind of thing. And a gentleman was pointing his hose up to lather up and soap up the top of his vehicle, and it went right over top of the barrier and got soap all over me, in my hair, in my face. But thankfully I'm good-natured, and he said, "Oh, sorry about that." And I said, "No worries, have a good day, Happy New Year." So it is what it is, you know. You gotta accept life the way it comes at you. So I am going to now head over to Tim Hortons and grab a little coffee. Thanks to you folks, because you always buy me coffee, so I gotta buy coffee. So a lot of you folks have continued to donate a few dollars here and a few dollars there. So I know one person asked me if I got permission to give you guys shout outs. So if you don't want me to use your name or your YouTube channel name and say thank you, then just let me know. But there's so many of you folks who have given me a few dollars here and there, so to buy me a coffee, and that link again is in my description. But let's go get a coffee, and then I'll talk to you all about how I got involved in health and safety. And it was actually because of a serious accident on the job. That's why I got chosen to be the company health and safety advisor. Okay, we're here at Tim Hortons. So we are going to go in and grab a nice dark roast coffee. Come along. Okay, I got myself a coffee. It's a Tim Hortons regular size dark roast, 1 cream, 1 sugar. So this should be good. I want to thank James in the UK. He donated to my Buy Me a Coffee link. And so this coffee is on you, James, in the UK. He said that they don't have Tim Hortons in the UK, at least not in his city. So I appreciate this. Now we're gonna go and take a little drive over to a nice quiet area, and I will talk to you folks about how I got involved with health and safety. And I'm gonna have a few sips of my coffee. Well, I found a nice little place to pull over so that I can have a little chat with you folks. And I'll have my coffee, I'll have a sip here and a sip there. So anyway, getting to the story of how I got involved with health and safety, let's go way back to I guess to 1985. Between 1985 and 1997, I was working in a meatpacking plant where we processed hogs and cattle. And then there was a couple of strikes. There was a main strike in 1986 from June 1st to the end of the year. If you Google or go on YouTube and Google Gainers strike of 1986, there'll be a lot of information on there. It was Swift. It was called Swift, and it was called Gainers. But at the time, it was owned by Peter Pocklington, who was the owner of the Edmonton Oilers NHL hockey team at the time. And he didn't want to, pay the wages that were required or whatever at that time. So we went on strike, and it ended up being a long strike. So it was some interesting stuff on there if you go and go on YouTube and look that up. So anyway, after 1997, we went on strike again. It was the same union and whatnot, different ownership at the time. Then it was owned by the McLean family, Michael McLean, who owns the McLean French fries and whatnot. So it's quite a big company there. But they threatened that if we go on strike, you're gonna close the plant, and that's exactly what happened. So in 1997, after 13 years working in the meatpacking plant, I found myself unemployed. Seems to be a pattern here, eh? So after trying out a few jobs here and there, and at that time jobs didn't pay very much, you know, $10 an hour, $9 an hour, sometimes maybe 12 later on, I finally got into construction, and I became a laborer in construction in 2001. And we were working in construction and doing things okay. I had just started construction. I was 39 years old, and everything was going good. I was a laborer and whatnot. And then by 2004, I was a labor foreman, and we were working on some high rises and low rise apartment complexes. But then in I think it was March or May of 2004, we had a young lady who was part of the team on a low-rise construction site where it's called heating and hoarding. So it must have been March, because it was still cold out. And it's between floors. They have heaters in there because we pour concrete. The work I was doing was involved with concrete. And so we had tarps going all the way around the outside perimeter of the building, between floors, and inside was the heating, was natural gas or propane, most cases it was propane, and heaters to keep to cure the concrete that was freshly poured for the floor. And then we went to the next floor, kept going from floor to floor. And so she was tied off, but there was very little training at that time, and she did not have her rope adjusted properly, so she took a step and she fell from the third floor down to the second floor. Even though she was tied off, there was too much slack in the rope, and she struck her head on the floor below. I got a call from some of the workers saying that Mary had fallen, and so I got to her, and the ambulance came, and it looked worse than it was because you bleed from the head a lot, and so she had a cut on the side of her head from hitting her head on the concrete. Fortunately, she was fine. She spent a day in the hospital, and then she was out. But at that time, then my boss at that time, for that company, decided we do need to have somebody to talk to the occupational health and safety officers when they came on site. So guess who they chose? They chose me, partially because I was responsible and reliable. I came to work every day. I was rarely ever late, and I always showed up. So and being a little older at the time as well. So I was thrown to the wolves, and I had to deal with occupational health and safety here in Alberta. And so I put together a plan, and we did some training and in fall protection and how to properly use your harness and your rope and your personal fall protection. So from there, they decided, you know what, we're going to send Martin to for some courses. So there's a thing called the Alberta Construction Safety Association, which is the kind of governing body, and they provide training for a lot of health and safety professionals and site superintendents and so forth. So that's what I did. I took the courses, and I got my safety officer designation. Construction safety officer designation, March of 2005. So then I was a safety officer, construction. So then we started growing, and I started taking more courses and continuing with that, and doing training. So I did training in WMIS and fall protection, flagging, for like traffic control, and a bunch of different things. And then I wrote an exam and took a course, or took a day training for my gold seal. So I got my gold seal in 2008. And then I also went to university after hours. So the University of Alberta had a course on occupational health and safety. So I took that as well. Took about 2 or 3 years part-time to do that. And in 2011, I got my University of Alberta certificate in occupational health and safety. So I got all that stuff. So I got my credentials and I got my experience and whatnot, and that was good. So basically, in a nutshell, it can be a long process, but you can do it. It was a lucrative position, especially in that time period, from about 2005 to maybe 2020 or so. But now it seems like a lot of companies are wanting to slash costs. And so the health and safety person, it is a very important position, because a lot of companies now, or clients, won't accept your bid in the bidding process unless you've got a good health and safety record. But on the other hand, a lot of companies look at people like me as a cost, as an expense, not as a way of making money. So, the superintendent on site, they make the money for the company, and the company thinks that the safety person costs them money. So it's a bad way of thinking. But hopefully that kind of just gives you some idea. There are, even in your jurisdiction, there are different opportunities to become involved in health and safety. It can be in construction, it can be in mining, I'm sure in shipping and manufacturing. There's all kinds of opportunities for that. To be honest, I've done it for almost about 20 years. I'm kind of tired of it now, because sometimes it's like an adult daycare. Sometimes you're always babysitting, because some people just don't want to comply with safety. But ultimately, it's for a person's own benefit. I mean, it does benefit the company as well. But we did have a young man that was killed on the job because they weren't following proper procedures, and he was killed. He was a rigger, and a tower crane was hauling an 8,000-pound load, which fell on him. And that happened, I think, in 2007. So that was in a different city. That was in Calgary, Alberta, and there's a fatality report online available about that too. So that was a sad situation. A young man, his name was Lance. But I didn't know him because my jurisdiction was Edmonton. And like I said, that was in Calgary. But I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'm having my coffee. I'm going to get on the road here and do a little bit of driving, do some Uber Eats deliveries. Got to go right now, 7 days a week. Got to make some money. But I've got some more videos coming out, and we will chat more. So if you like this kind of thing, please like and subscribe. Thank you for the coffee. I appreciate that. Anytime somebody wants to buy me a coffee, I won't say no. So thanks again. We will talk to you in the next video.